Congratulations. But I still want to come fight you. 2026, it's me and you, baby.
This is huge for Yan. Huge. Yan has been done dirty so many times in the UFC. This was epic. True. No! Yes! 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 Go on, Piotr. Just go.
I am in the hospital with my brother Aljamain Sterling, and then my brother drinking his Funk Harbor rum. And I'm on the phone with my mother. Dedico. Quick, Amar Jobak, English Surat.
Holy smokes, there is a brand new UFC bantamweight champion. His name is Petr Yan. If you would have told me in March of 2023, after Merab Dvalishvili absolutely steamrolled, dominated, I mean, it was not even close. It was one-way traffic throughout. Remember that fight in Las Vegas, a fight night before Merab became champion? If you would have told me on that night that some 2.5 years later, they'd rematch and Petr Yan would fight Merab Dvalishvili the way in which he fought him tonight, and we'll get into it, but just to let you know what it was, in my opinion, it was 50-45 for Petr Yan. Now, the judges didn't necessarily agree. There were two 49-46s, one 48-47, which is absurd. I thought at worst it was a 49-46. It was a very fun, entertaining fight, but this was vintage Petr Yan. This was the Petr Yan who was wrecking fools in his first run as UFC bantamweight champion. And imagine 4.5 years ago, he makes the critical mistake. He hits Aljamain Sterling with the illegal knee. 3.5 years ago, he loses to Aljo in the rematch via submission. 2.5 years ago, he loses to Merab. Now here he is, once again, the man in the bantamweight division.
Dude, that's crazy. This fight's legit over. Yan's clearly up. Yan still looks fresh too. Oblique kick. And he's looking for that body shot again. He's looking for that body shot. He might go upstairs with a head kick. Merab needs a finish in this 5th round. It is over, boys. Oh, Yan almost eats a big shot. Good head kick from Yan. Yan shoots a takedown now. Don't get guillotine late. Takes down Merab emphatically. Holy shit, how good is Yan? This could be 50-45. There's no way Merab thinks he won. He's like celebrating and talking. Dude, Merab's embarrassing himself talking to the crowd. What a fucking performance. How good is... They're not giving Merab a rematch. They're not giving Merab a rematch. It's going to be Umar Yan or O'Malley Yan. Yan whooped him like a dog, man. I don't know if... I hate to say it. I don't know if Merab deserves a rematch. He got whooped.
One of the toughest fighters that I've ever come across. And let's just say, Merab and I didn't get off on the right foot early on. I have nothing but respect for him and everything that he's accomplished. And yeah, and for Petr to come in and do what he did tonight. And I mean, the body shots and the head shots and the wrestling. I mean, it was an incredibly high level fight that was, you know, what a hell of a way to end the ESPN era.
No! What? Oh my gosh! Nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming, bro. Nobody. This fight was so overlooked. Petr Yan just shocked the world. I mean, Petr Yan just shocked the world. And the odds makers must have known. He's getting picked up and run around the octagon by his coach. Unbelievable. He's going to move to 20-5, and he takes down Merab, who seemed unstoppable. Was on the verge of becoming fighter of the year. Now who gets it? Oh my gosh, Petr Yan is the new bantamweight champ. Fight of his life here at UFC 323.
Before the fight, Umar Nurmagomedov added context no one else could. Earlier in the year, he had fought Merab and suffered the first loss of his career, so he understood that smothering grind better than most. Umar explained that Merab's pressure didn't simply tire opponents. It cluttered their minds, stole their timing, and forced them into small mistakes that added up over rounds. He respected Yan's explosiveness and his ability to create fight-ending moments whenever he found space, but he also voiced concern about Yan's ability to defend consistently over extended sequences. Umar believed that unless Yan found an early finish, the fight would eventually drift into the familiar pattern Merab had mastered. Watching Merab's performance against Sandhagen had convinced him that the champion wasn't just steady. He was improving rapidly, becoming more dangerous with each outing.
From last fight with Petr Yan, Merab become much better. Last fight with Cory Sandhagen, show it wrestle all night, and it's a very big trouble for Petr Yan. He don't have good defense, but he have good arms. He can do TKO, but if it's not gonna be TKO, I think Merab gonna maul him.
Robert Whittaker echoed that sentiment in his calm, matter-of-fact way. He respected Yan's danger, and he respected the unpredictability built into the sport, but he saw something different when he watched Merab. Whittaker pointed out that Merab operated with technical clarity, not chaos. His defense tightened in ways people didn't fully notice. His striking no longer looked like a frantic attempt to close distance. It complemented his entries, made opponents hesitate for a half second, and created new lanes for attack. Whittaker said he couldn't find a realistic scenario where Yan outworked the champion. It wasn't disrespect, it was simply an honest assessment of the trajectories both men were on. Merab had attempted more than 40 takedowns in their first meeting. Whittaker didn't believe another human alive could replicate that kind of output, let alone exceed it. Yan was special, he said, but Merab was special in a way that was much harder to solve.
Speaking of his opponents with incredible striking, he's coming up against Petr Yan once again, the former champion. They've both leveled up since that first fight a couple of years ago. Do you see this matchup going any differently?
Okay, so there's always a puncher's chance in every fight.
Yeah.
Okay, him shooting the same time Petr decides to throw a knee. It could happen. It can happen in any fight against anyone. But let's take that tidbit out of the equation. I don't see it going any different. I think he's gotten defensively more sound with his striking. I think he's much more comfortable striking and mixing it in with the takedowns. And once he establishes takedowns, his striking's going to look better for it. And that's what he did against Sandhagen. That's what he did against all the other guys he's come across.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't see where the avenue for victory is. You have to out Merab. And that is... He's special. Like I don't think there are two of him in the world, you know. He shot like north of 40 times in their first meeting. So I don't see where that avenue of victory lies for Petr. And he's a great fighter, don't get me wrong. I just don't know where he beats Merab.
Ayman Zahabi offered a thoughtful twist that hadn't been widely discussed. Zahabi remembered Petr Yan mentioning that his right hand had been compromised during their first fight, which explained why Yan barely used it that night. That detail changed how Zahabi viewed the rematch. A healthy Yan meant a significantly more dangerous Yan. He also highlighted how fighters built like Sandhagen gave wrestlers easier hips to grab, while shorter, compact fighters like Yan created timing challenges on entry. Zahabi wasn't ready to pick Yan, but he made it clear the rematch wasn't as straightforward as some suggested. Merab had the momentum, yes, but Yan had tactical advantages he didn't have last time. That complexity, Zahabi said, made the fight fascinating.
Yeah, I thought it was very interesting when Petr Yan mentioned that if you look back at the fight, he didn't use his right hand, and I hadn't noticed until he mentioned it. So we might see a completely different fight. We may, who knows? But I really love that matchup. I think it's going to be an action-packed fight. I think it's going to be hard for Merab to cycle through the takedowns the way he did with Cory Sandhagen against Petr Yan. And I'm only saying that based on the fact that Petr Yan is a little bit shorter. and it's going to be harder for him to get in those hips at the same, frequency as he did with someone who's much taller. So it's going to be it's easier to get in on taller guys, and I think with Petr Yan it might be a little bit harder. And if he was right and his hand was compromised the first time, he might have a surprise for Merab. But I really think Merab is he's been on fire, and he's going to be hard to beat for anybody. And I can't wait to watch that fight.
Ethan Ewing added his own angle, rooted in pace and decision-making. Watching Merab against Sandhagen convinced him the champion had reached a different level entirely. Yan's striking was cleaner than Sandhagen's, and his instincts sharper, which made the rematch compelling. But Ewing kept returning to one question: could Yan stop the takedowns long enough to turn the fight into the kind of exchanges he thrived in? In Ewing's view, Merab hadn't shown signs of slowing down or being figured out. The champion kept getting stronger as fights dragged deeper. Ewing believed Yan had windows early, but he doubted those windows would stay open long.
I don't know if anybody has the answer for Merab yet. I'll be totally honest. His kind of unhinged and unbridled just ability to fully get after it and have a crazy gas tank, his wrestling abilities, he just poses such a threat that it would be very difficult for many people to shut that down. Now, I know Petr Yan is a very talented fighter. He's got some of the dopest striking and boxing in the UFC. He has a fantastic ground game as well, so we'll see. We'll see where his preparation is. If he can shut down the grappling, then sky's the limit. I think Corey Sandhagen did a really good job of that. He just wasn't able to recapitalize when he was on the feet, so it's always hard. You always kind of get excited that somebody may be able to take the crown, but I don't think anybody has figured out Merab quite yet.
Sean O'Malley had been paying attention to Merab long before belts entered the equation. He pointed out something fans often missed. Merab's striking confidence grew with every fight. O'Malley reminded people that Merab nearly dropped Corey Sandhagen, a moment that surprised those who didn't expect power from him. O'Malley said he had seen hints of that development coming. Merab didn't punch with elegance, but he experimented more, he mixed combinations, and he forced opponents to respect more than just the takedown threat. O'Malley added that this willingness showed up against Umar Nurmagomedov as well. It didn't mean Merab suddenly turned himself into a knockout artist, but it meant Yan had more variables to worry about. The fight wouldn't simply be Yan trying to stay upright. It would be Yan trying to stay upright while dealing with a striker who wasn't the same one he fought years ago.
The only way I see Yan beating him is Merab's getting confident in his hands. He damn near knocked out Corey Sandhagen, but he's punching more. He did it with Umar too, where he was, kind of throwing some more combos, and he did it with Corey. Peter's someone you got to be careful with, like keeping your chin up, because he'll capitalize. He's got such good counters. He's fast. He'll sit in the pocket. He'll trade. But Merab's I think his fight IQ is smarter than his regular IQ, and he's got a good fight IQ. So I think he's gonna go up. I don't think he's gonna necessarily sit and try to trade with him, but you never know.
So ultimately you're leaning towards Merab unless he kind of falls in love with the striking and gets caught.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking.
I think he's the fighter of the year if he wins this fight. 4 title defenses in a calendar year is kind of crazy, right?
How could you not be? I mean, 100% fighter of the year. That's super impressive. It's insane.
Valter Walker went in another direction entirely. The rematch interested him, but he thought the bigger picture was far more intriguing. He believed Merab entered a phase where very few fighters could truly threaten him. Walker even floated a hypothetical future matchup, Merab versus someone like Pantoja, another relentless, suffocating champion. For him, that idea represented a dream clash of styles, something fans would crave.
Yeah, this fight is good, but I think Merab is gonna win again. Merab right now, on his level, I don't see nobody who gonna win him. For me, interesting if he fight with Pantoja, Pantoja, the champion. I think it's gonna be interesting fight. I would like to watch Pantoja versus Merab. This one fight, like,
Jamahal Hill didn't need heavy technical analysis to make his point. He simply placed Merab inside a small group of champions who separated themselves from their divisions. Fighters like Pantoja, like Topuria, people who didn't just win, but made elite opponents look ordinary. Hill said Merab joined that group and that the rematch with Yan would likely become another example of how wide the gap truly was.
Yeah, I'm going with Merab, bro. Merab is just operating on a different level right now. The one out of everybody, out of all the champions right now that are just operating at a different level above their weight classes, I'd have to say Merab has probably got the biggest gap between him and his competition. I don't know. I'd say it's a tie between him, Pantoja, and Topuria. When Georgian boys came up and caught on, boy. I like Georgia. I need to go there. I need to go take a trip out there. Love guys.
Finally, Carter's Prates viewed the matchup through the simplest lens possible: stamina. He didn't care about entries, combinations, or cage angle. He cared about the fact that Merab never slowed down. Most fighters fatigued, Merab didn't. Prates said that alone changed fights in ways fans couldn't fully appreciate on paper. When someone refused to fade, refused to breathe heavy, refused to give moments of stillness, they became a different kind of problem.
Bro, I think Merab, I don't watch too much, but I know he have a lot of cardio, and I think Merab is gonna win.
So how did you react to this fight? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more MMA content like this.